My husband doesn't know I'm about to divorce him. This has been my plan for 6 years. This is by far the craziest thing I've done, and I can't believe I suffered all these years staying with this man, just so I can survive financially. The start of our marriage was wonderful. We had 2 babies. After the second pregnancy he cheated on me with a very close family member. He gave me a lazy apology, and on top of that he complained about my body. He also told me I was built like a refrigerator, mind you. I was 4 months postpartum at the time. I secretly saw a family lawyer. To sum it up for you, I would be screwed leaving him. We only had $25k and that being split up is basically nothing for me. No Marshall properties. No car. I didn't have a job. Literally nothing. I was a SAHM. I applied for hundreds of jobs during the time and couldn't find employment anywhere, so leaving was a bad decision for me financially speaking, especially with 2 small babies. Also, alimony and child support wasn't going to be enough for me to live off of or survive with 2 babies with. So I let him believe that I forgave him and I continued being his wife. The very first time he cheated on me, it was with my cousin. Then he cheated again. He had a one-night stand with a random girl he met on a night out. I got so mad, I cheated back on him out of anger. OFC, he never found out I cheated. At least I'm smart about it, unlike him. During the time in our marriage, I worked on getting my independence back. My husband paid for my trade school. It was a very expensive program, but he paid for everything. We moved and we bought a house with his income. He grew his money too during all this time. So he made far more money now than he did when I originally wanted to leave him. I started working recently. I have a career now. I'm so happy about that. I haven't filed for divorce yet. He has no idea of my plans. I'm excited. I finally get to leave him after 6 almost 7 years. Now I can walk away with at least $200k and we have Marshall assets now, like the house and the car he also paid off for me. Now I have my education and my own career. I've been working on my weight loss. I lost 66 pounds. He paid for my tirzepatide. I had a breast reduction and a breast lift. I look amazing. I don't doubt I'll probably get remarried eventually. Everything in my life is finally set and going the right way. I won the lottery and it ruined my relationship with my boyfriend and my family. I never thought winning the lottery would be anything other than a dream come true. But here I am, with more money than I ever imagined, and it feels like my life is falling apart. A few months ago, I bought a lottery ticket on a whim. I almost forgot about it until I saw the numbers on the news. I couldn't believe my eyes. I had won $600,000. At first, I was in shock. I called my boyfriend, Jay, and he rushed over, equally ecstatic. We were both over the moon, dreaming of what we could do with the money. But the dream quickly turned into a nightmare. It started with Jay. He began making plans for the money without really consulting me. He wanted to quit his job immediately, buy a luxury car, and invest in risky ventures. When I suggested we take things slow and maybe talk to a financial advisor, he got defensive. He accused me of not trusting him and said I was trying to control everything. Then my family got involved. My parents, who I've always had a strained relationship with, suddenly wanted to reconnect. They started dropping hints about their financial struggles and how they could use some help. My sister, who's always been jealous of me, outright demanded a share, saying she deserved it for all the times she supported me. It felt like they were all looking at me differently, like I was just a bank to them now. Jay became more distant and started spending a lot of time with his friends. He'd come home late, smelling of alcohol, and we'd argue about his spending habits and his new friends who seemed to only care about our money. The final straw came when he suggested we invest a large sum into a business venture his friend was starting. I said no, wanting to be cautious, and he exploded. He accused me of being selfish and not believing in him. The argument was so intense that he stormed out and didn't come back for days. During that time, my family's demands became more aggressive. My parents hinted that they were entitled to the money because they raised me. My sister called me greedy and accused me of abandoning my family. I felt trapped and overwhelmed, unable to make anyone happy. When Jay finally returned, we had a long, painful conversation. I realized that our relationship had become toxic, revolving around money rather than love and mutual respect. We decided to break up. He moved out, taking some money with him as a parting gift, and I felt a mix of relief and sadness. Now, I'm alone with my fortune, but I've never felt poorer. My family is barely speaking to me, and I'd lost someone I thought I'd spend my life with. I've hired a financial advisor and a therapist to help me navigate this new reality, but the emotional toll is immense. Winning the lottery was supposed to be a blessing, but it turned into a curse. I wish I could go back to the way things were before, when life was simpler and relationships were genuine. I just needed to get this off my chest. A guy was going to fight my dad in a road rage incident and didn't see me in the passenger seat. His behavior changed real quick once I got out of the car and charged him. We were on a narrow street so only one car could pass at a time. Suddenly a car tries to exit a parking lot and go in our direction. She stops and is blocking our path. We can't go back as we would need to reverse the whole length of the street. Then this guy comes out from the parking lot on foot and asks if there is a problem here. My dad assumed he was some onlooker trying to see if everything is okay, so he got out of the car and explains the situation. Then this guy goes over to the car that is blocking our way, tells the woman to not move, and then comes over to my dad and asks him, "What are you gonna do about it?" Turns out it's the brother of the woman in the car blocking our way. My dad is standing in a defensive position with his car door in between him and this guy. Meanwhile I'm in the front seat just in shock that this is happening. This guy is taller than my dad, so he crouches by a bit, puts his hand on his knees and looks at my dad with a serious look on his stupid face as if to say, "You can't do anything." At this point I can't believe this is happening and lower my head in disbelief. That's when I hear a bang, and I thought that this guy hit my dad. This primal anger came over me, and I quickly exit the car and start yelling at this dude. He was skinny but tall. I was taller than him. I weighed 108 kilograms, 238 pounds, and have been going to the gym for the past year. This guy went from trying to fight to immediately backing up as I started charging him while yelling. He started explaining himself to me while walking backwards, like I was his teacher, and he was in trouble. Started telling me that my dad swore at his sister, and that he was defending her. It was hilarious that he was lying to me, because I was right there, and my dad never swore. My dad ran over and stopped me from going any further, and kept telling me to calm down as this guy was walking away from us. I saw this look of fear in his face when I got out and started yelling. I'm a very introverted and peaceful person. I don't think I have scared anyone before this point. This guy was 100% looking to fight my dad. That bang I heard was him kicking the car door. Luckily he didn't hit or injure my dad. I'm glad I was there. And the lady blocking our way also backed up once I got out, although she was screaming profanity at us the whole time. After that we just got in the car and drove off. My husband keeps getting more attractive, and I don't like it. Me 32 female and my husband 32 male have been together for 8 years, married for 5. I'm not ashamed to say I was the pretty one in our relationship when we were dating. Before we got married he was around 280 pounds and 5 feet 11. Didn't know how to choose clothes for himself. He hates shopping and had a bald head. I fell in love with who he was as a person. Even though I never cared for his looks, I was secretly assured that he wouldn't cheat on me. I was cheated on every single one of my relationships until he came along. Into second year of our marriage, his sister had to lose ton of weight due to heart issues and he started going to gym with her 5 times a week to support her. I was very supportive of him to start exercising and thought it was very sweet of him to support his sister like that. With 2.5 years of hard work they both lost ton of weight. He specifically lost around 100 pounds and turns out he has very blessed genes. I'm talking about full on abs and everything. Never knew man can grow jawlines by losing weight. Even his P***NIS seemed to bigger. I was very proud of him and was pleasantly surprised by this. Then soon after he got a promotion at work. He became head of his department and his former boss advised that he should look more presentable as a representation of their department. My husband took his words to heart and turned to me for help. We went on shopping spree and started to let his hair grow out. Well, again, turns out he has a beautiful hair. By this time my husband is very attractive man. Then a month, we went to company's anniversary party with his coworkers. I noticed that women at that party was just swooning over my husband, and even worse, he just doesn't realize it. I learned from his coworker that most single women, even some of the married ones, are actively throwing themselves at him at his workplace. There was one younger girl who gave him a kiss on the cheek while we were sitting together. I talked to him about it and he said, well, she is French. I thought French people are like that. I guess I'll try to keep my distance from her. Honestly, it was dumb response, but it's just so like him. I don't like how much attention he is getting. I feel like, as soon as we get into Rot Patch, if we get into it, there is ton of women waiting to prey on him. I'm scared that some of those women will affect him, as he is pretty naive as a person. Note that he was everything I could ask for in marriage and has been great, if not perfect, husband for me over the years. I feel like such a pose for wishing he stayed physically the same.